Hi everyone, my name is Alex and I'm a photographer. I shoot all kinds of photography like portraiture, events, and travel. But my favorite type of photography is street photography. Now usually I go out with a bulky camera and a large lens, but recently I've been shooting with the Realme GT Master Edition, and this phone has been my main photography camera. I really enjoy shooting with this device because the Realme GT Master Edition is basically designed for street photography. There are certain features that I've never seen in any other device before, so in this video I will show you which settings to turn on in your Realme GT Master Edition, and then go on the streets of New York City and show you guys some tips and tricks on how you can improve your own street photography. So the first setting that you have to change is to turn on the quick launch mode. This allows you to launch straight into the street photography mode, and it bypasses the regular camera so you're not fumbling around and missing the shot. Now this next setting is to enable the grid and level. Now I know this may sound like a really basic option, but the grid is something that I use every single time I take a picture, and it really does help improve your own compositions. Now this last tip is to go into the street mode and then turn on the filters. Now usually I don't like to use filters, but for the Realme GT Master Edition, the street filter is actually one that I use all the time. I really do like how it shifts the tones to make your photos look more cinematic. Now let's hit the streets and I'll show you just how well the street photography filter works. Okay, so in this example, I am trying to take a photo of this market on the corner. We are dealing with some pretty challenging lighting conditions with a mix of artificial light and natural light. And this first image was taken without a filter using the raw mode. You can see how the entire shot looks flat, boring, and all of the colors are really warm. Now this is the same exact shot, but using the street filter. The contrast is boosted and there is a mix of blue in the shadows and orange in the highlights. Now for this next example, I'm trying to take a shot in low light. So once again, you can see how this raw image is struggling to capture any color, and the entire scene is flat and boring. However, when I'm using the street filter, the image just comes to life. Look at the detail in the clouds and how the orange and red colors really pop. Of course, shooting raw gives you a neutral base to start with, and the images are not meant to be used as is. But for photographers that really like to post-process their images, the raw files are a great place to start. Another tip is to use the manual focus when you're trying to dial in that focus on a very specific subject. Here I'm standing in front of this fence and I turned on the manual focus setting. For this first scene, I am trying to focus on the fence, so I move the slider closer to the bottom. The yellow focus peaking lines on the screen indicate where the focus is, so it's really clear and easy to see. Look how cool this shot is. The bokeh in the background looks awesome, and the fence is in sharp focus. This could be a wallpaper for your phone. Now in the same spot, I'm scrolling the focus control towards the top. This way I can focus on the distance. Now for this shot, you can see that the fence is blurred out, and instead the skyline is in focus. Now for this last tip, I really encourage you to experiment with different focal lengths. The Realme GT Master Edition has a multi-camera system, so why not use it to its potential? For this image, I'm using the normal lens to capture this 1-point perspective composition. You can see it looks okay, it's just a normal gritty New York shot. So I walk back a few feet, and for this next image, I am using the telephoto lens to zoom in and compress the scene. Now this shot is so much better with a clear focal point, and the zoom just cuts out all of those distracting elements. Of course, don't forget about the ultra wide. The ultra wide camera is great for those times where you need to fit everything into one shot, or you're trying to achieve a really dramatic angle. For this image, I really wanted to capture all the lanterns, and only the ultra wide was able to fit them into this frame. Overall, I really enjoy shooting with the Realme GT Master Edition. The camera hardware is awesome and the software just simplifies that shooting experience. This means that I can go out and focus more on the shot and the composition and worry less about the hardware.